Hello everyone and welcome back to That.Alien.Girls podcast. Yes, today will be episode 5. Excuse me, I drink some water. Oh, I was parched until just then. Alright, so I will pre-warn in this one, I am actually videoing it at the same time, so if you want to check out the actual YouTube video, people on Podbean, that's where all my podcasts I've made before are also on there for the YouTubers if you want to check that out. But yeah, if you want to check out new stuff for people on Podbean, sorry, I feel like I'm inceptioning myself right now, trying to talk to both platforms at the same time. But yeah, so just check that out if you want to. I've got a ice cream makeup look going on today. Basically, I've just been like delving into more of my hobbies recently, and I forgot how much I like playing with makeup. But like, you wouldn't guess it, but this literally like took me all day to do, and I don't usually take that long on eye makeup. But I wanted to try and make it look like as professional as I could. So I've got a mirror in front of myself just to make sure, because these eyelashes are pretty much rogue and they're making my eyes really, really dry. So they're very cheap, mind you, though. So they're good. They're good for it being cheap. But my God, my eyeballs are dying for it. Ooh. What it takes to be a drag queen. I wish, though. I wish I was a drag queen. Like recently I've been I've really admired people who just be themselves and dress up however they want to, and they just get to live their life freely being them, and they don't have to apologize for it, but I like that they don't apologize for it. And like, they must feel like, honestly, I've been just thinking about how brave they must be if they can just be themselves and dress up however they like, making themselves their own like little character. It was like, oh, that is so sweet. Okay, I'll be honest, I had this like already going on like halfway, and then halfway my alarm that goes off at the same time every night, which I always forget, and I always film at the same time, it keeps interrupting, and then I end up having to like restart the whole thing because the whole thing just gets ruined by my phone going off. Especially now that I'm filming it, it completely cuts off the video. So I was like, oh well, whoopsies. So now I'm having to like redo it. I'm kind of having to say the same things like over again, and it just, it's not candid. Like, if it's not candid, I don't like putting it on. Like, the whole point of this podcast is it to be candid. So it's like having to talk about the same things again, like I hadn't talked about them. It's just like, I've already said this stuff. I'm not gonna repeat myself. But yeah, like, being completely honest though, I really do believe that like dressing yourself up does actually really help to just make you genuinely feel better as a person, because you feel like you can express yourself more. And I've been really delving into a lot of my hobbies because I've been wanting to like express myself more in the fact that I am actually like very creative. And I finished making my first song that I'm calling Aliens at Midnight. I don't really know if I'm going to post it anywhere. So yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to go. And to be honest, usually I'm like very conservative. I'm very to myself. I'm not really out there. And I feel like that's probably why I haven't been very successful before on like YouTube and stuff, because I don't really like sharing much about myself. I'm actually very scared to, which is why I tend to really admire people who just dress and look and act exactly how they want to, because that's who and how they want to be. And I really find that so beautiful, and I have such a gratitude for it. And I feel like recently it's been kind of, I'm trying to teach myself to be more open and like out there as myself. But like recently on here, like in showbiz, I find that it is better to make a character almost, because there are like a lot of people like in showbiz that really put on a persona or a character, even if it isn't really them, because they know it will draw in the audience more. Like with Miranda Sings, I thought that was like a legitimate character. And when I found out that she wasn't really a character, it was like, oh. Like, I don't know why. Like, when I first saw her, I was like, is this really a person? Like, is this really how a person acts? And then I felt bad because it was like, oh, yeah. Can't just judge somebody for the way they are and, you know, who they like to be. And then I kind of just sat there and told myself, like, I really don't like this person, but you know what? They can do them. And then when I found out that this girl actually just picked things that she didn't like in people and like made a joke out of it, it was like, wow, like no wonder why she was really able to pull that off as a real person, because she made it like so relatable, but in all of the ways that people just, it like rubs a lot of people the wrong way. So she got a lot of like audience from that, and she was like really, really smart, and it made me kind of tempted to do that, because it's like, if I had a character in showbiz, I feel like if I had a character on this podcast or in my YouTube channels, that it would actually be easier to draw people in, because if I acted like a troll or if I acted like an ass, like it would get me the attention and the publicity that I'd need. Although the only problem to that is people genuinely think that that's what you really like. So then you end up getting hated by a lot of people, and like growing up in that era where it's like, you can't dye your hair, you can't get piercings, you can't get tattoos because of like, you know, wanting to get a job like anywhere, or like being seen as a good person. You really try to make yourself like a stereotypical normal person and like a social standard, so that you can get jobs anywhere you want, and that, you know, you can feel comfortable, not like you're just going to get thrown away just because of the kind of person that you are, like something you might preference over something else, like even if it's your gender, if it's the actual gender you prefer or anything like that. Like there's like, it's crazy to me to think that there's a lot of reasons why people can just fire you or cancel you out of a friend group because of certain attributes that you might have. So it's like, I don't know if it's worse to try and put off a character and then just be like to work, oh, I'm not actually like that in real life, I just do it to be successful in showbiz, or if you should just be yourself and just hope that you get just as popular and everything, because then you don't have to worry about that. But then what if people do the same thing to you, but you're not actually like a character, but you're getting judged on who you are really as a person, and then you end up not getting judged for that. So it's kind of like a mixture of everything. I don't know. I think about it too much. I think about things a little too deeply in my own perspective. But yeah, so I don't know. I like, characters are all well and good and fun, and I can tell that Trisha has herself a character. She did it to be able to be successful on YouTube, to get money and to get views when she needs. It's like people think that, sorry, my throat is like really dry. Excuse me. People think that like that's what she's really like, when in reality she's actually just like normal. It's just something that she's done because she's like a hustler. She does what she needs to be able to get the views and money she needs to like survive. And as much as I've always wanted to like put on a character and to do that to make myself survive, I've never wanted to forfeit or dangle or put at risk my own integrity off of the way I really feel about things. So it's like I'm taking myself too seriously. But you look out there in the world and you see the people, like Miranda Sings actually got like a lot of hate from like a lot of people, and even though that wasn't who she really was, it still would hurt to have that many people hate on you. And I guess like in any kind of perspective, when you really focus more on the hate that you're going to get from people, it will stop you really from doing anything, because there's always going to be a lot of people out there that are going to hate you for absolutely no reason. It's just the way our society is, and although it's kind of sad, it's just, it is what it is. And I myself, I've really held myself back a lot of the time. Like, I'm a really friendly person, but because of like because I hold myself to a social standard, I am very friendly. I'll talk to everybody, but I'm also like very temporary. I like to really keep to myself because, you know, of the person that I am generally. Like, people might look at me and go, oh, this is like a normal, sane girl. And then, like, in reality, I'm just kind of like really weird and I've got really deep thoughts and I'm very like creative. And, you know, my views on the world are very different compared to like normal people views, I guess you could say. And so that, like, that's kind of why, like, I don't know, like when you meet me in person, like, I'll always I'll always be like really, really sweet because I do genuinely care about every single person that I meet. But like, I'm not going to be your best friend. I'm not going to be with you throughout every breath of your life. I'm always going to like hold myself a bit back compared to that because it's like the not wanting to get rejected, and as well as not wanting to be rejected from based on the actual person that I am. So I always hold myself to a social standard when I'm around people, but I'm not really truly myself around people. So it's almost like the normal me that I'm even displaying right now is like almost like my character, the way I portray myself so that I'm socially acceptable to people, so that, you know, I don't get judged because of fear of getting hated or rejected. But then at the same time, it is actually who I am, and it's just really, really toned down. So I feel like to everyone's character, it's always going to be a little bit of who they really are, which is why they're able to play the character so well. But they get to actually just play it off as a character, to not really take responsibility for what it is that they actually do and say. I don't know. I feel like there's benefits to putting on a character in showbiz, and then there's a lot of downfalls to it because I feel like eventually at a point you wouldn't even know who you are or who the character is, or I feel like lines would get blurred and you'd kind of become both. I don't know. I think the world's like very complicated, and the way I see it is like very complicated. Like, as you can tell, I'm a very deep thinker, and it is hard to try and explain the way I feel, especially because then when I'm explaining the way I feel, I'm like, oh, what if someone then uses this against me? Like, as I'm describing this or talking about it, like, what if someone uses it against me at any time? Especially because I seem so sure of what I'm saying, and when in reality I feel differently about it every time it kind of gets brought up, and then someone else will bring up their perspective on it, and I'll agree with that too, because I believe that everyone has a genuine perspective of everything, and that you can't just say someone's wrong because you don't necessarily agree with it, because they could be very much right. But I don't know. I kind of got caught up within wanting to make myself a character on here, to be a little bit controversial, to be a little bit of a strong flavor, to kind of just get attention, my way to make myself more successful, because I know how to make myself successful, but then at the same time I don't want to ruin or damage my own integrity. And then it's kind of like a battle of going, do I need integrity as well as do I need a life that's successful? like I don't know. I feel like no matter how hard you try with anything, you're never really gonna be as high up as you're ever gonna want to be. Like, you're never really gonna have much integrity, because there's always gonna be little things that you do that someone could see and be like, you think you got integrity? Well, you just ate that donut off the floor, so you know, it's like everyone's got their own like point of view. But I'm like debating still whether or not to make a character out of this. As long as I get to dress up and do crazy makeup, I think I'm always gonna be like down, whether or not if it's a character, if it's really me. Because even like I could do some podcasts within a character, and then I could do some without. Although I feel like every character is going to be somewhat like based mainly off of my weird attributes. Because I think everyone just generally, as people, we're all characters. And that's why when we have a hard day, instead of saying we had a bad day, we have to say we had a character building day, because that's really what we are. Like, in movies, the characters in it are like literally like real life people based off, well, meant to be based off of a real life person to make it, you know, believable and everything, which is kind of also why we should be considering ourselves as characters and such. And if we were being like watched as a movie, how would we want our movie to pan out? How would we want ourselves to look? It's kind of like a good way of like also checking yourself to make sure like you're actually proud of what it is that you're doing. And if a whole bunch of people are watching, whether or not if they think you're the bad or good guy, it kind of helps keep you in check for like basically the things that you do. Like if someone's watching a movie and you saw someone just like blatantly littering, you'd be like, ugh, that person is littering, how nasty person. So if you were to litter in real life, you'd be a hypocrite. So it's just like, no, pick that up. You don't want people thinking you're a nasty asshole that can't pick up her litter, so put it in the bin. Or you be put in the bin. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of confused at where this was going. It like, my podcasts are kind of like, I kind of wung it, or wonged it. I can never say it right for some reason. I kind of just wang it. I wanged it. Yeah, so I kind of just go with it, like on these podcasts. Like I just kind of let out whatever's in my brain at the time that it's in my brain. And it's pretty much chaotic and a bit like all over the place, but I think that's kind of like the point. So if you want to continue watching, or not really continue watching, but if you, well, I guess so, just not this one, but other ones. If you want to continue watching, like please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please give it a thumbs up and a like, you know, put some dirt on it. And for Podbean, if you like listening to this, can you please follow, as well as, you know, just, I guess, download these, because I have been doing it on my Podbean where I'm only doing 20-minute intervals of each podcast because I've only got a certain limited amount of hours, because I'm on the free trial, because I'm a broke asshole. Like I can't afford shit. Like I can afford some things but not everything, okay? I'm not that privileged. So yeah, so you might want to download all the other ones, because once my space gets full, I'll be downloading the oldest one, and then so I can make new ones. And then on YouTube, it's going to be every second podcast is going to have a video of me, or maybe even if I'm actually with someone, it's going to have an actual video of it. So yeah, so keep following. I plan on making 2 podcasts per week. One obviously is going to be filmed with my beautiful, delicious face, and then the other one is going to be me as a potato, but you can't see because it's just going to be my voice, yo. Yes, I've turned into a rapper, yo. Alrighty then. So I guess that's all for this podcast. Thank you for watching That Alien Girls podcast, and I cannot wait to see y'all in the next one. I have to quickly add, I spent all day, you know, perfecting this look, and just to make like a 20-minute vlog, and now I'm sitting here like, what do I do? I feel like I have to do something now that I've done all my makeup like this. Like I'm probably just going to leave it on all night and then like take it off like extremely last minute, because, you know, I feel like I would have wasted my makeup otherwise. Okay, bye. Subscribe and like and comment and stuff. Oh yeah, like ask me questions or send me stories, you know, bro. Just let's just interact on my Gmail. Yeah, okay, bye. By the way, I have to quickly add, I am sorry for how poor quality this video is, but please don't hold it against me. Okay, bye.